Okay, let's go through the manual. This is the F07 helicopter by Yuxiang, which is the UH-1D Huey. This manual goes through and talks about the battery, remote control, and the gyro calibration, the manual motor startup, throttle cut, and basically the optical flow and one key landing and the pitch setting. That's pretty confusing in the manual. I'd like to explain it to you a little bit. So we'll go through okay, here, this table is important. It gives you some basic parameters and scope of the helicopter with some of the warnings on the battery. The important thing here is it's 10 to 12 minutes of flight time with a 7.4 volt 1200 milliamp battery. In cold weather, this time will be reduced. For example, today, I'm sure it's cold here. It's not going to be 10 minutes. It's probably going to be 8 minutes or something. Okay, here's the battery information. As you can see, the battery here, okay, these are the LED lights indicators, and it basically tells you how much battery is left in. So the one light, let's turn it on now. Okay, so this tells me it's almost full. It's got 4 lights on. One light would be 25%, as noted here. 2 lights would be 50%, 3 lights would be 75%, and 4 is 100%. And if there's no lights there, there's low battery. Okay, these are the clips that you have to push when you put it into the helicopter, and then it has to latch into the plastic part of the battery tray. Okay, this little connector here is for if you want to have a camera or a light, a searchlight or something that could, connect into here. The F09 has a nice searchlight that you could use on this, and they also sell the separate accessories that you could use for these helicopters. The connectors is back here. This is where it connects into the helicopter. Again, 7.4 volts. We talked about this earlier, but I'm just going through a little more detail. Okay, the transmitter. All right, this one is an interesting diagram. I'd like to walk through it for you. On a helicopter, this is the collective, where it goes up and down. The swash plate on a collective pitch goes up and down to increase the pitch. And then this is the rudder, okay, anti-torque. On this side, these are your cyclics: elevated forward, elevated backwards, roll right, roll left, or aileron right, aileron left. And they also call this pitch forward, pitch back. Okay, this is your throttle cut. Okay, obviously if you cut the throttle in flight, you're gonna drop. Motor is gonna shut off and it's gonna drop. Here are your rates, high rates and low rates. Press it to the right, it's high rate. Let's turn it on. This is your on switch. When it's flashing blue, it's mode 2. Okay, there's also a way of changing it to mode 1. But anyway, so this is double click is a high rate, and then and then a single beep would be a low rate. This switch here is used to adjust your pitch. Let's say you have a crash and you have to change your servo, and the servo is your swash plate is no longer level. That's when you have to use this procedure to level your swash plate at the set point where all the blade angles, pitch angles are going to be 0. That's a very typical helicopter setup, and that's what this is used for. This is your optical flow manual mode, and then push it up with the optical flow would be so the camera actually sees the ground and tries to hold the helicopter in one place, one location. This is your mode where you can go upside down and fly upside down. The way to activate this is you fly it up 5 to 8 meters high. You put the helicopter in manual mode. Has to be in manual mode. Press it down, and you press this for 2 seconds to the right, and then proceed with flipping it by either this way or that way. It's going to roll and fly upside down. And to come out of it, you do the exact opposite backwards. The transmitter has 4 AA batteries. If you want to make adjustments to any other mode, you can open these up here and make the changes if needed. You can tighten it or loosen the gimbals. And these things screw in and out. I mean, mine came loose, so you can screw it down, or you can adjust it according to your height, your thumb height, whatever you want. You can raise it by opening it and tighten it again. Okay. Binding. To bind, if the aircraft isn't bound, it's explained here, you have to press the power button while you toggle this high rate button to the left. Okay, it explains it in here. And you have to turn on the helicopter first, and then do this. It'll bind to the helicopter. So you can technically have one transmitter and fly both or multiple helicopters, but each time you have to bind it. I think the protocol is such that they're all standardized, so you don't have to worry about reverse or normal positions of the servos. Okay, the other thing is gyro calibration, which is pretty critical. I do it before my maiden flight normally. So the way you do that is you push on the mode 2, which is this, you push your rudder or throttle up all the way, and you pull the elevator all the way down, opposite, and you hold it for a few seconds. And you will see that the light blinks orange and then goes back to solid green or red, depending on whether you're in manual mode or optical flow mode. Again, to initially start the helicopter, you put both rockers to the side here in the bottom, to this on this, one on this side, one on that side. With that throttle cut button on, the helicopter starts. Okay, we talked about the throttle cut. Okay, here's a diagram of the control board. You know, we can take a look at that later when we open it up. And one key landing, interesting. You can always press this button here down and the helicopter lands on its own. Okay, you can still control where you want to go, but you press this down and it lands on its own. We talked about the inverted mode, which was this button here. The important thing is you have to be at least 5 to 8 meters up in the air. And finally, the pitch setting is explained here. And this is exactly what I said. It's for when you need to re-level the swash plate. And it explains it in detail. There's a step-by-step Chinglish explanation, but the bottom line is you have to have the throttle cut on and you power on the aircraft and make sure that it's bound. You push the throttle cut to throttle cut on, and then you would hold the pitch setting button to the bottom, and then it makes 2 beeps. So you enter the pitch setting mode. Then you could use the elevator or the rudder, the aileron stick to adjust the servos. They will move up and down, and you have to level the swash plate. You would level it to 90 degrees to the shaft. So each servo, this is 1 servo, 2 servo, and 3. This is your elevator is typically in the back on this 120 degree swash plate. Your pitch is here and aileron is here. These 2 servos would be your roll. They go up and down, and then that's your other servo. So you see it's kind of level now. Both directions you look at it, it's level. So you want it to be level. And if it's not, you'll know. It shows you the servos here. And the rest of it is in Chinese. Just wanted to have a chat on this. If you have any questions, please ask below.